Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paladins Minor League. It is week 4, and I am Dolson, and alongside me on the desk here today is Evan Rain Day Rayner. Evan, good to have you here this morning.
D to the Ave. Happy birthday, my friend.
Oh,
Happy birthday. All of Paladins in the chat, give some love to Dave. It is his first birthday on cast. It's nice timing that you kind of joined us right before the big day.
I planned that.
You did. I'm sure you did.
I was nearly an April Fool.
In 1995, his parents had it all planned out.
That's right. And I was just so close to being an April Fool.
But think of how 200 IQ my parents were, because they had to have me at 1990. So they were even 5 years ahead of your parents who figured out this moment. And pretty
That's
impressive.
just smart.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Parents are the real MVPs.
They really are.
We do have some great action, though, for you today, and lots of really good sets today, and lots of teams that are very close to each other sort of in their brackets. If you kind of run down the list at a glance, All Business versus Blazing Hussars, the first matchup we have today, obviously EU, and they're 3 and 4 spot there in that EU bracket, so you'd imagine sort of a closer matchup. All Business coming in with a win under their belt. The Hussars still looking for their first win, but All Business definitely on a hot streak.
A team that I never thought would not have a win is Blazing Hussars, especially with Andrew Doodle and the way they've played. But when you look at All Business, they've got some of these pieces that can explode. And Effable's a guy who we've seen on that kind of B5 CIS roster in the PGS that's been super successful. William Birkin always just sounds classy whenever you say the name. It's William Sonoma and Birkenstocks. How can it not? But honestly, he's been pretty good this year. Clostar's given us strong performances, and we've had guys like Please Do who have been on that front line. Today, however, Please Do is not going to be on this team. He's actually made an adjustment over to Clown Fiesta. So he is going to be in that top tier matchup between 1 and 2. So it'll be interesting to see how All Business actually adjusts, knowing that he's not on their roster right now.
No, and that's definitely something you have to look at because, I mean, they had kind of found their footing. All Business had kind of figured out they gotten a win, and they have sort of figured out how they wanted to play together. On the flip side, you have the Hussars, who are, like you said, somehow still looking for their first win, especially with their roster. You got Doodle, Grafies, Kamaker. I mean, you got players on that team who are certainly well known, and I guess interesting is a good word that they haven't found that first win yet, though.
I think it's just been more of how do you really pace and measure the talent on this team, because everybody maybe wants to go a different pace. Andrew Doodle, I would expect, wanting to go at a little faster pace. Not only is he a little bit more of an aggressive and loves to get on those DPS champions that can carry a game by themselves, and the Bomb King, in the Drogos. He's been in the PPL and now coming back to the PGS, seeing what we saw yesterday in the PML, seeing what we saw yesterday in the PCL. When you're in these leagues, it's a slower pace. It's not as coordinated. Andrew Doodle may want to step his foot on the gas, but his team may not be ready for it. You also have to talk about the fact that All Business, and when we mentioned that earlier, Bugsy no longer a part of that team, so their roster's flipping even more. There's just so much to kind of talk about here that it's hard to make predictions on how this will unfold. We're just going to have to watch and see how these two battle it out.
No, and that's certainly, well, that is going to be our first matchup of the day, but definitely a fun one to watch. And moving down the list, the second matchup to look at is certainly a fun one as well. We have Clown Fiesta versus Sour Team, which is kind of the opposite. You have the two top teams in the EU. Clown Fiesta coming in on a bit of a hot streak right now, and other teams trying to look and find a way to figure them out.
Yeah, I think Clown Fiesta are the team I gave credit to for today, trying to get the win. And I think that, although Sour Teams looked really, really strong, I've been waiting for Simsalou to kind of take over and find success here in the PML at the highest of levels. He's a player that I think can probably claim more of that MVP as he's done in previous lands for us in this PML, more so than anyone else. I think the way Sour Team and Ninu and Perdo and Cheapo, they operate as a great unit, but I think as far as a player who's going to be able to take this over, Simsalou, to me, is the one that I'm looking at.
Certainly. Well, that matchup one to look forward to as well. A bunch of other great matchups today, but let's dive into the maps for our first matchup of the day. Going to All Business versus Blazing Hussars. Ice Mine's Frozen Guard, Jagfall, Splitstone, Corey getting banned out. Bright Marsh looking like our first destination here. I believe All Business is the higher seed in this case, so they would probably be taking this map pick. But a pretty standard start here as far as Bright Marsh goes. Not necessarily out of the ordinary to see that coming out first.
Yeah, you know, I think Bright Marsh is a great place to start. It's a great kind of like just get your bearings map. Although it can be a little devastating if you don't know how to play it, it's a very common map in Europe. These are all veterans. No one's going to be surprised like we saw in Fish Market the other day, where how do we exactly go about this the most efficient way? Everyone knows what to do on this map. It's just a matter of can you execute. And does anybody get caught out in these drafts? We've seen the Torvald, we've seen the Grover, the Khan right up the alley, and I think all business seem like they're going to follow them right down Main Street as well with the same type of standard draft bans, and it's going to be the Makoa. So no one's getting at least tricked at this moment.
And I know this is one thing I think that Nick had mentioned. He wanted to see how maybe the PML meta would maybe start to shift once they see some of the PPL plays come out. So it'll be interesting today to see if maybe some of that starts to get emulated and kind of makes its way down into the PML.
I think the one thing that we see in the PML that actually I almost saw reiterated in the PPL but was started in the PML was the Tyra consistency. The ability for Tyra to be flown into all of these maps and to seriously find success at high levels of play. So if they do continue this is a good map for her. This is something I can expect to see a Tyra in a 5th pick position to kind of augment a draft, or maybe that 4th pick to give you some guaranteed damage amp. Also flex out maybe your first damage dealer like Blazing Hussars might be picking right now. All business out of decision though with the Barrack and the Ruckus not as sustainable at all. So they're an aggressive composition going against the Sonara, Ashe, and Damba. I wonder how they're going to augment that with their damage dealers.
The Sonara Ashe sort of focus is something we did see in the PPL this past week, sort of those 1-2 where the higher priority tanks coming in. So not surprising to see the Hussars going that route. The Ruckus Saris is a strong pickup. I think all business found themselves some of that sustain you were talking about, maybe not as high sustain as the opposite side. The Leon coming out now for the Hussars and the Drogos as well. So adding some range into the mix here are the Hussars. All business looking to round out their lineup. Probably one more damage dealer looking to come out for them. It is going to be that Tyra.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I think. I mean, it was almost like the PML kind of started it a lot. And I'm going to give Watkins a lot of credit for this in North America, being able to kind of consistently stay with it on many maps, not just the Bright Marsh. But then also, it was reiterated in the PPL, shown that it could work. Why would the PML go away from it now? So it seems like a great pickup, and it's going to force Ionara away from the point, which is where she's going to have the most success. I like it here.
Well, no more time to waste. Game number 1 is on the slate, and Bright Marsh is where we are headed. Let's send it down to Gore and Nick to get this day started.
Thank you so much, boys, as we head into Bright Marsh here. And I think the Tyra is probably one of the big talking points today. Yeah. Hunting Party has always felt like one of those talents that isn't exactly been fully explored. And now that Nade Launcher came in, it was, you know, kind of what we were looking at for a long time. Hunting Party seems to have been the complete flip to what Tyra is being played as now.
And I think it's one of those few talents that it will feel intangible immediately, but you start to see it as time goes on. And I think that's actually very specific. Like, Blazing Hussars, when you get marked, like, you know your mark, you see the reveal, but it doesn't always register. Oh, I'm taking more damage. Everybody's coming in more damage. Like, it causes so much trouble, and you can kind of see what that does to Kamiker when he just gets in the wrong spot.
Yeah, Ineffable here marking up a couple of targets. And do you feel like Tyra might be moving into that secondary meta hit scan threat now that, you know, Leon has kind of been the one recently? Cassie's been that primary projectile threat on the ground. But now it feels like Tyra might be having a little bit more daylight.
And I think it is happening just because of this Hunting Party. Like, I think her being able to come in, her being able to apply that damage, so when you pair her up with someone like a Cassie, all of a sudden your team is just going to do such, again, insane amounts of damage throughout the game that certain fights, when you're up against a front line, it just becomes so much easier.
I mean, Big Game Cassie's already been, you know, starting to be scooped up more and more often for her ability to chew through these really bulky frontliners. You know, you throw Hunting Party on top of the big game damage, you've got a real problem as Inara, right? I know, that could be a real shift here if people start getting really good at it. Now, Davazy has an opportunity to push a couple people out in the backline. So many low targets, but Klostar's going to grab the first one as Davazy continues his rotation. He's happy to get the one kill that he finds up on the high ground. Tries to rotate to safety so he can put some pressure on Inara, but my man is just having pressure dumped into him. They want to counter engage on this, Enlightenment will connect with Barrack on the objective, but Gora, it is not enough to take him out.
And it's just one of those things, I mean, All Business have been in this interesting area because of the fact that they've had a little bit of roster swaps from week 1 to now, but it's just been getting more and more concise, and seeing this come down from them, I mean, this is an oriented team. Like, they know exactly what they want to do, and they're executing it pretty much perfectly.
It's crazy stuff, and, you know, even with the loss of Bugsy, they start to really be looking like they're coming into their own. As we say that, though, the Hussars do manage to find themselves a nice little team fight, but these aren't exactly the most costly team fights to lose.
And it's that perfect area, right? Exactly what you said. It's not costly. 2.5 minutes, like, okay, we're on Bright March. 2 minutes is enough time for me to get back to any payload on this map. And we just got 300 credits. I'm going to go spend some of the bank and then come back out with a couple more items. Yeah, Andrew Doodle makes sure to remind people why his Drogos is so important. But I think Closar coming back into that fight is more of a reminder as to why you should be worried about this Cassie.
Incredible stuff here.
Jeez.
You're seeing those big game shots for almost 1,200 on Kamiker. As now it's Blazing Hussars' turn to kind of take a seat. All Business come blazing back into this map, completely roll over the Hussars without any contest. Get this payload moving once again, but they still have a decent little chunk to go. And here are the items if you guys were interested in those mid-round buys. A couple people picked up their COT 2s. Closar just goes straight from the Wrecker one into the Cauterized one.
And I actually like that. It's that weird area where you have to deal with shields, but really you're more worried about healing. Like, the shielding isn't going to be as prevalent. Like, you're going to bonk those away, but, I mean, you're really only dealing with Ash Shield. Like, you don't have to burn that down too much.
There is a shield sometimes, and I don't want it to have full HP or effectiveness. There it is. The stun comes out from Assert Dominance. Kamiker looks to kick this fight off, but just as quickly as it looked like it started, game 2 end, and that's kind of okay, right? 45 seconds on the clock. That was like the cleanest, most unceremonious disengage. Now it's time for the re-engage. The Dome Shield is dropped, but William Birkin is still the first to fall. 3 in a row for nothing. All Business are getting swept off the floor.
Using the Dread Serpent, the Assert Dominance, and a Dragon Punch, though, just to get that. Yeah, you save yourself 30 seconds. You might tie it up 1-1, but you're definitely using all of your ults. Dome Shield got thrown out there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he died almost immediately once it came through.
Maybe it was the Dragon Punch. I'm not sure actually who got the kill credit for that one, but
up and down.
It's a decent answer, right? I mean, Dragon Punch can quickly get in there under the shield and get rid of the Barrack before he can do any dancing around, any funny business. And a little bit too soon there on the wipe, as it looks like All Business will have another chance to contest here. We will go into overtime. Inara dropping lower and lower here. Davazy just looking for a consistent angle on the Inara, but he can't find one immediately, and she's going to be right on back to full HP. And now this is looking a little bit scary for All Business.
I mean, overtime's dancing around. William Birkin's been using these bowling ball resets, being able to kind of use that failsafe to keep himself alive pretty well. The shielding on the Ruckus as well, keeping him around, but it's so dangerous. They're playing on a very thin edge, and you can see William Birkin getting taken down right there. Just not enough pressure, not enough health, not enough healing for him to stay around.
Yeah, not spending ultimates either, right? I think that looks to me, especially if they're not able to get that kill confirmed on the Toot. He was pretty low at the start of that first little fight. But if he doesn't fall there, you're going to really need something to catalyze that push. A lot of those ultimates that were spent are almost charged back up, however.
And that's actually kind of surprising to me because that was 30 seconds ago. Like, that was not a long time. And yes, Andrew Doodle will charge his ult pretty fast. Drogos does a lot of damage, typically gets his ult fast. But the fact that Kamiker and Surretts were able to kind of keep up with that pace, about 80, 90, and then 90% there for Andrew Doodle. So, like, you're keeping up. No one has morale boost, so that was just pure damage coming down from Blazing Hussars. If they can bring that kind of fight to the point, that kind of damage to the point, then I'm not sure that we're going to see William Birkin or Davazy be able to withstand the damage.
Right. It's a good time to highlight, I think, you know, how much longer it takes to charge some of those frontline ults. William Birkin and the Dragon Punch were almost popped at the exact same. The Dome Shield and the Dragon Punch were almost up at the same time. Dragon Punch is up. Dome Shield's not even halfway, so it is a big disparity there. And again, you're right, it does come down to how much damage you can pump out. Barrack, frankly, is not exactly one of the lacking damage tanks. He can definitely get in there and mix it up with some of the best of them. Point fight starting to break out a little bit here. Here comes the initial aggression from Blazing Hussars. They're going to open it up with a Dread Serpent, as they've done just about every single time. Dragon Punch connects as well, and it looks like it will be a quick, clean victory for them.
And All Business do that without using any ults. Crossfire is one that I think we're going to see Tyra use as like kind of a selfish ult. Like, it doesn't really do anything for the team. You're just, I'm going to burn through a front line. I'm going to burn through somebody or a couple people to make sure I have that extra damage. But no Hexafire, no Convergence. I feel like they are waiting for the retake. They are trying to come back in, but that wall's going to make it a lot more difficult because that blocks that Convergence.
Today. That was incredible stuff. Nice block there from Anar. Kamaker finds the first kill of this engagement. The Assert Dominance comes out as well. Untitled is able to answer back onto one, making his rotation in now. The Blazing Hussars look to lock this one down, and I think they just might. Now, Cora, the thing I want to talk about is in that first round, obviously we see a much more solid team fight from All Business.
Yeah.
And something I talked about yesterday was that in the draft, I don't think a lot of people keep in mind the overall suite of ultimates that their composition is going to have. Now in this round, with ultimates in play on the point fight, Blazing Hussars easily defeat not only one All Business squad, but two of them. Two full team fights go to Blazing Hussars without any trouble. You think it is as a result of just what ultimates they have?
I think it was the ultimates, also the fact that they were playing around All Business pretty well. The one thing All Business don't have is, even though Barrack is going to be a good point tank, the minute this Dragon Punch comes through, if it gets rid of a Barrack, if it gets rid of any of the pressure like the Cassie that has been, I mean, Closar pretty much has not been alive this round. Yeah. Then Inara, Ashe, like, how are you going to displace him? Who's going to take care of him? No one has the damage to kill off Inara, and no one has the aggression to really fight off the Ashe.
Because for my money, I mean, Dome Shield's a great ultimate, but it's very, I don't know, it's tough to get a lot of value for it if you're on the back foot. I like it to be able to, like, come back in, use it when you know somebody needs to be on the point, or you need to be on the point. Yeah. Blazing Hussars dunk it through. The rest of these I'm looking at, you know, Hexafire can get a lot of value, but tends to need setup. Crossfire can get a lot of value, but tends to need a lot of setup. Scout is Scout, it's just vision, and Convergence is so counterable at this stage and at this level, like we just saw. I mean, the wall just went up, and it's the perfect little backboard just to block that ultimate out. It's like, at that point, what do you engage this fight with as All Business?
I mean, they need to be able to find that Convergence. I mean, that was a really big wall block from the last round, but the Dome Shield's coming up this round. You're going to have the Crossfire. Like, they didn't use a lot of their ultimates in the first fight, and I feel like that's what gave All Business that leg up. If you can come in now and at least be confident enough to say, we can pop this, even if it doesn't get anything, at least we used it. You have comeback mechanic, you just need to hold the point.
That's what you got to do. I'm looking at all these ults, and I'm like, I don't really know what I would start an engagement with, because none of these are guaranteed to get value, especially if it's the only thing that Blazing Hussars have to worry about or look at. Nothing is crowd controlling them into it either. That is going to be tough stuff. But immediately onto the objective is going to be All Business. They're off to a nice little start here, and the Dome Shield will try and deter Inara for just a little while longer.
And it's done just enough. Barrack actually being able to get full healed through all of that, but they lose Closar. And again, he's been the pressure. He's the point where he can actually push people out of there. Once he's gone, Graphies is going to be completely free reign. You have Tyra not being able to really enhance anybody else. Yeah, Ruckus can still do damage, but it's kind of her on her own.
And that was kind of it. Antidote finds a nice cleanup there from distance. I'm not sure with a rocket or a spit. Crossfire comes out. The mark is on Inara, but this is what I'm talking about. Ineffable just can't get in there. He doesn't have any help. There's no setup. He's getting poked out from around corners. It's funny how it feels like a fight can be decided by 1 or 2 shots. I think Cassie misses just too many shots on that Leon there. I think that would have been their best opportunity to get a pick and shut this one down. Kamaker has a nice assert dominance there. 15 streak for both of the frontliners and an 18 streak for the support. Looks like that might be the way this game comes to an end, as Grafis almost finds himself 3 in the backline. Blazing Hussars figure it out once the ultimates start to come online.
And I like the attempt to jump back in and grab the point and take it away from All Business, or for All Business, I guess, to try and get back from Blazing Hussars. But like, the Hexafire comes in and it's like, cool, I'm shooting over here, then I need to look over here, there's a shield, okay, where do I look? Like, by the time he figured out where he wanted to put that damage, it was pretty much too late. His health bar was just gone.
Well, I mean, you can throw up something like a wall, you could throw out, they had assert dominance, right? They just had ways, and I feel like ultimates that were so much easier to get value for. Let's get it back to the boys on the desk and think about what they thought about game number 1.
Thank you very much, guys. Game number 1 is in the books, and Blazing Hussars find themselves on top of this one early on. And I think Nick sort of put it in a really good way, in that it's just the Hussars lineup just seemed to be easier in a way. They played it better.
It's definitely the easier win condition, because you just have to sit there, and unless they can get you off of the point, you win. And it also gives a lot of flexibility to what we did consider that was great about the Firebomb is that it does help to counter out what Toot Toot and Surrettes are trying to do, which is stay on the point, throw up those walls and block those convergences, hold down those objectives, get that extra 20% capture. But what it doesn't say is that now Ineffable is caught between having to use his hit scan and his focus visually on the point, where above him is Andrew Doodle, who goes 10 and 3 on the Drogos and has 8 assists as well, hitting a lot of fire spit damage and really contributing to this fight. And you just cannot really do both. And so unfortunately, although you do kind of shut a little bit down on the point, it's not enough, and you end up having to deal with this dragon, otherwise he takes you out.
No, and that's a really good point. I mean, when you have Doodle, when you have a Drogos who is doing as well as he is, Gore actually kind of made a comment about it. It's just Hussar was just kind of dead the whole time.
He really was.
There's not much you can really do about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what the Hussars owe probably to their victory there. The high-powered offense.
Yeah.
You saw the Leon not missing many shots either, and then everyone was streaked out by the end of the game. The healers doing big things, the front line doing big things. I think they just played their composition better.
And the thing that was so good about, I think, the way we saw the Ashe and the Inara come into play was that Ashe was great at holding the boundary, at managing these moments, even though when the first point was won by Ineffable, and you saw, I believe, All Business, when they were pushing, Kamaker had a great moment where he was shuttling in between his shield, staying alive with about 100 health to his name, but still got the defense, and that started to build them momentum. Ashe is so much more flexible in that role, being point tank, being presence, giving you that stun, then the Ruckus or the Barrack. They're both very standard in what they're trying to do. And with Kamaker, an experienced and veteran guy, he's able to take that and apply it into the situations that give the flexibility to Graphy. Yes, on the other side, if you saw Ineffable have that type of bodyguard level play where immediately Ashe could be building space, and if someone gets behind, that she's back there dealing with them, that might have opened things up. The Tyra just couldn't compete with the mobility that unfortunately Graphy has had on the Leon.
And I was kind of bummed because I actually really liked the Tyra Cassie stack. I mean, that has such a high potential to do really well, and I think it still does. Serpent Beach map number 2 for us, and I think Tyra Cassie is a fine 1-2 stack. I think that it can still work in the right situations. Just didn't go the way of All Business in game number 1, but I don't think there's necessarily too much to change in picks and bans. I think it was, maybe a little tweak here and there. It's just how the team comps kind of
I think it was just the front lines. And, when you get this consistent level of the way you ban, you could sometimes just, as the first pick team, just have the first pick advantage and then just snowball that into a win, having the easier lineup on the map. That's what happens when you kind of allow the standard thing to happen, but you're in a disadvantage at the standard way things go. You might have to ban something different. You might be able to, might not be able to ban Torvald Makoa. Maybe you ban Torvald Cassie and they get a Nara Ashe, but you get Makoa Makoa Barrack, and now you have that aggressive front line that can do something as well. I think they just kind of gave up pretty easy.
That's true.
And again, you're looking at similar bans here, but this time All Business are the driver's seat with the Inara.
No, that's a really good point. I mean, the Ashe and Nara, and we kind of mentioned this in picks and bans when we saw it come out. I mean, that's such a high-powered front line.
On Brightmarsh specifically, too.
On Brightmarsh specifically, and such a high-powered, potent potential there for a lot of frontline damage, and it did come out to play. Mixing up a little bit this time, the Ashe is going to get banned out, but that does leave the Inara to All Business first pick. Maldamba Leon going to round out their first 3. Barrack Khan, so a high-powered frontline-esque start there for the Hussars, looking for some damage dealers and some healers to get this lineup going. Is there anything that you would like to see for the Hussars that maybe fits in here?
No, I think the Hussars now have done, what we saw All Business kind of lack was that there was that dynamic 1-2 punch of the front lines early for Hussars. Now All Business taking the Maldamba. It's a little odd for me and not prioritizing the Khan. Obviously, they didn't have it. They had that first pick, and so the Barrack Khan goes the way of Hussars. And to me, that's where things shifted in that draft. So now you see a very strong aggressive tank with a decent point tank in Barrack, and you're going to have the Cassie and Genos to augment that. This is a flexible draft. I don't see All Business getting the edge yet, but the Pip could do it, especially if that's played to its most efficacy. And look at this, the Eevee. This is going to be different because now there's a lot of pressure on that Genos. He's not going to be able to outrun the Eevee, one of the few flanks that can actually chase him down. But the BK is a great pickup to give some more consistency, a hard matchup for Eevee as well, who could return just as much damage as she can give.
Well, two very different but very interesting lineups here. Do you like one on paper more than the other?
I definitely like, I think I like the Khan BK draft right now. I think Serpent Beach has a great opportunity for Eevee to shine, but not everybody can do it. We'll see.
We will see as we jump into game number 2 here in Serpent Beach. Let's see who shines. Let's send it down to your casters. Here's Gore and Nick.
Thank you so much, boys. A little bit of a different styles of draft coming out here. We're seeing 3 DPS, essentially, from All Business, but without the Geno score. Is this something you think can succeed?
I think it can, but only because of the DPS they have. Eevee does a lot of damage on her own, Leon does a lot of damage on her own, and Pip is a lot of damage, but also a lot of control that I think he brings to the table that a lot of people would underestimate. Like, the utility Pip brings and the damage Pip brings are what make him a really good fit here. And I'm expecting, I mean, Evil Mojo probably to be one of the bigger problems for Blazing Hussars throughout this entire game.
Oh boy, Blazing Hussars W-keying their way up onto the All Business high ground in the first kill. It is going to go their way as a result. And Nara has to rotate off of the objective now. As you can see, complete high ground control has gone their way. Nice connections there onto Inara, putting some good damage out onto her. But it is only 30-30 now. Blazing Stars just now getting things tied up, and that's usually the way it can go a little bit with Inara. You can just park her there and almost forget about it.
Just kind of hold on as best you can to find whatever you want. The problem is going to be that. What is Eevee going to do? I was actually going to mention, against Bomb King, you need about 2 bombs to be able to bonk her health bar down.
Right.
But with the way coordinated play goes, if he hits 1, Andrew Doodle just needs to find 1 shot, and usually that's going to be enough for a teammate to then follow up and destroy this Eevee. So she's going to have to find very specific matchups and very specific scenarios, and they're just going to have to open up as much room as they can for this Inara, because the double front line right now is standing strong.
Wow. Unable to crack it that time around. Even Mojo did come out, but I think Cassie somehow managed to avoid it. I'm not exactly sure who he was aiming that one at, but it certainly didn't hit Cassie. Now, complete open angle onto William Birkengrafis, able to shut it down, and the Noose Titans here, Leon, just goes ahead and dives off the map. The overtime is started and likely to finish in favor of Blazing Hussars. So it's not the 3 DPS comp per se, but how do you feel about the amount of damage these 2 front lines for Blazing Hussars can put out and their viability with the Luminary
I mean, that's
Genos?
kind of what it was. I mean, even looking at the Eevee earlier, right? The thing I was saying with Bomb King is you hit that 1 shot, someone else has to do the other. The other person in that case was Barry. Like, he just happened to hit the 1 shot that killed her off. I think the turret might have gotten 1 shot in there as well. So, like, you're just doing all of that damage. And the same thing goes for Khan, right? Like, they do enough damage on their own that there's something that you need to be worried about. When you accompany them with something that can burst you down, like a Cassie shot, like a Bomb King shot, it just gives so much consistent damage to Blazing Hussars, especially with the Genos behind them, that they kind of, I want to say, like, they're pulling the rug out from All Business, and it turns out they were standing on top of a Shark Tank.
High ground control going to be important here for Blazing Hussars. Bomb King the only one that can take it, so he's got to figure out a way to crack this all by himself. If you look at All Business, they've got 2 different ways to get up there. And of course, as the defender, right, everyone's got that, you know, wheelchair accessible ramp. They can just sort of walk up. Leon can get up here, as you see. She is now. Davizzy finds 2 from high to low and looking for his 3rd. And 4th will go the way of All Business, not to his name or credit, but it is a complete wipe there for nothing. And it looks like only an Evil Mojo used.
And that's a big one. Again, when you look at the point fight, we don't know where that Evil Mojo went, but it didn't go on to Cassie, and that's who he was fighting, and no matter what, no kills came out of the first one. Second one, he finds, I think, 2 or 3 people, and is able to find the kills, clean them up almost immediately. The damage from Pip is good. If you hit those Evil Mojos, you will win every single fight. But that is going to be the key, is making sure you hit those, making sure you can knock them down. I see a lot of resiliences in Blazing Hussars' future.
I think the reason I like watching Pip so much in the minor league is just because I feel like I learn a new movement route every single time. Especially on Serpent Beach, there's so many different ways to go. Doodle just straight up takes the 1v1 with Davizzy. Even though Enlightenment has popped, he wins it, and now wins another big one there. Andrew Doodle 2v1 on the high ground. Closar and Davizzy fall to his might. Ineffable is next. King Bomb is ready, and Doodle is soloing All Business.
I feel like I don't say this enough, but I like Bomb King a lot, and this is pretty much why. The things you can do when you have a good
Luminary
Bomb King
man,
just makes such a huge difference. I mean, like, he was literally, if they are a wall, he was the drill. And it was a fresh drill bit. The machine was ready to go. Like, everything worked perfectly. There was no chance of them standing in front of him. And that's just the best thing you can get with someone like Andrew Doodle. Like, he's warmed up now, right? That first round on Brightmarsh's Drogos didn't feel as clean, but then it just got cleaner and cleaner throughout that map. Now it feels like it's hit peak.
He's running maximum HP, 45 health back. So basically every 2 sticky bombs he throws out, of which he's got 2 extra, right? So in this loadout, he's getting almost an additional 400 HP. He's almost a 3,000 HP character walking at you with 8 ammo, each of which is doing about 1,000 per bomb every 0.7 seconds.
And I feel like Royal Decree, like, it's one of those things that's easy to glance over, but like it does so much for a Bomb King player. Like, the fact that I can hit you with 4 bombs, blow up, and then I have 8 bombs again. And what are you going to do?
It almost feels like you don't have a reload time. It is that like it is so that fast, and they completely have to lock him down there. Seismic Crash, blink in by Eevee. Bomb King is a math problem and a half for you to deal with, and right now Doodle is an unbalanced equation ripping through, and that's going to be enough math references out of me, I think, for the day. You got to get him in. Hey, I'm smart sometimes too there, folks. There it is, Evo Mojo, beautifully timed. Right as Barrett comes in, didn't even realize that an Ineffable was there. Khan tries to get in as well. I believe he also got hit by that Evo Mojo, but was able to back out in time. Now it is 93 and climbing for all business, but Khan does manage to get his way onto the objective.
And now here's where Pip's damage is going to come in handy, right? They're just bursting down through the shield, through his health, and you have to have a big play. King Bomb looking to charge up and come around the corner, but he detonates it early, and they still get overtime, but they're not going to get any real big utility out of that.
Dome Shield is available here, and it will be popped, the last resort for these boys. Blazing Hussars are officially out of resources, but they have found 2 kills, about to find their 3rd and 4th. Pip and Inara both below half HP. This is a great wall, though, just to buy some time here. And look at this. The healing from Maldamba is going to come down from distance. You can see him way in the back there on main, but he just can't keep William Birkin alive that much longer. 99%, though. It's not out of the woods yet for Blazing Hussars as they start to climb back north at now 70%.
Especially when you have something like an Eevee who can come in and they like easily get overtime every chance you need. Unfortunately, when they know that Eevee's going to be coming in, it makes it a lot easier to try and get rid of her. You can see her health bar in the back as she tries to heal up. Like, she got almost eliminated.
Damn.
And there just wasn't any pressure. I mean, not able to get in, not able to get the overtime. William Birkin was bursted before he could walk onto the point.
That's tough for all business, man. That is a tough one to lose after being up so much early. Blink up over the top there. Closar will find the finishing blow onto Andrew Doodle. But of course, like we talked about on Brightmarsh, it's not the worst time to lose a team fighter, a player or 2.
And actually, at this point, it probably is even better, because considering you took back that point, got a lot of kills, and you captured that. Like, you've been alive for a little while. You've got plenty of money to be able to spend and come into this with items. And, I mean, Blazing Hussars at this point don't have the ults, but they're charging them back up. You lose these fights, it'd be clean.
Ooh, a little aggressive there. Ineffable hits an Evo Mojo. Goes to push through the door, but Surretz is there. He is just playing Genos. He's just the support. Surretz is going to find not only the peel for his teammate, but then the long-distance snipe with the time and space onto Davizzi, clearing out the high ground. Now Grafis can charge his way up there. Seizing control and a great battle shout is going to keep him standing. And now Doodle taking the exact same path to victory that he took in the last round. He's got the high ground all to himself over here. King Bomb is ready again, and this time they're up 3-0, so they could potentially just end the damn game.
These bombs, like, yeah, okay, so that last one got damaged, but that's what it's meant for. It's a, hey, come up here. Like, just try to come up here. Come try to fight me. They're all looking at him, trying to get him, and he's still boxing him.
The payload is going to go in if they're not careful, Gormizer. 3 people staring at Doodle right now. He is bringing a ton of value. Kamaker, and he combined to find the kill onto Closar. Davizzi is above them. Davizzi does manage to find one, but Poppy bombed right off the high ground into the Shark's Den. Incredible play there from Doodle, but he does end up getting taken down by William Birkin, who then is taken down by Grafis, so this one still has a chance of finding its way home.
I mean, they're holding on as best they can here, and I feel like I've seen Blazing Hussars in this kind of position before and let it slip through their fingers. They need to find this push, and they're playing cleaner than I've seen in the past. They have a King Bomb, they have an Overpower, they have the ability to get rid of some of their bigger problems immediately. but it's only if they're feeling confident. They have 20 seconds left to do it.
Well, Doodle is doing that dance up on the high ground again, but Davazy shuts it all down. This time, a 2v1 and the Enlightenment is what is required to take him down. Starting to get some ultimates out of all business, so if Blazing Hussars just continue to kind of do their thing here, give it the old college try, there's a chance that this goes through, but I think they're in a good spot going in the next round in terms of resources.
I mean, Eevee has just been doing so much work. Hussar is in a fantastic position because, like, no one was looking at him. He got rid of Genos, and then no one turned around because they heard the blink back. And then he's just playing the exact same angle. He just blinks back down and is like, cool, Cassie's looking the other way. That means I can get at least 2 shots off. Blinks in, gets the shots, blinks back, comes through, finds the kills needed, but it's still 5, 7, and 6. Doing whatever he can, staying alive, but there's been a lot of moments where...
Trying to keep up with his Inara right now. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't...
Tough.
He's getting locked down easily, I guess is the better way to say it.
Tough stuff, dude. Tough.
TUFF.
There's a lot of, I mean, again, we're looking at, it's not 3 DPS, but Luminary is still really good on Bomb King, still really good on Cassie. And Barrack and Khan are 2 of the most consistent high damage front lines out there. I mean, Barrack can really chunk you down, and Khan is the only hit scan tank out there, and I think his damage is definitely significant as well. 87%, 91%, 75%, close, but not quite close enough to have it available right at the start of these team fights. I think if Blazing Hussars come out swinging, they'll be in a good spot in this team fight.
I don't even know what just happened to Tutu. He just insta-died. That was the evil mojo and the shots coming down from the Eevee. That was just so much burst in one place that there was nowhere for him to exist. Now Kamikaze going to get stunned out.
He does, but yeah, it's kind of meh, right? What does that seismic crash really? It slows that Khan down by about 1.5 seconds from where he wanted to be anyway. I don't think that gets too much. Poppy Bomb here. I think, okay, I thought it was below a full floorboard. I did not know if it was going to get value right up over the wall. Nicely done by Doodle, but did he bite off more than he can chew there? Khan, beautiful battle shout to immune the Dread Serpent fear. Starts to backpedal. Eevee really wants this kill, but Doodle is not going to give it to her. He gets pumped right back to full HP, and he's still in this fight.
And now trying to get rid of the Genos. Hussar recognizing the target. They get rid of Kamikaze. They get rid of Andrew Doodle. This should be a fight here for all business. They just collapse in. And to me, that all starts with that Barrack. Like, he took 2 steps onto the point, evil mojoed, and then 2 blaster shots just collapsed on him. 1,500 health was plenty to be able to burn through.
I like the Dread Serpent as well. I thought the response was going to be good enough from Blazing Hussars. Kamikaze's battle shot was perfectly timed, so he doesn't get feared. Gets the heal off onto Doodle, bails him out as well, but at that point, it felt like maybe Blazing Hussars were just a little bit too deep.
I feel like I'm having some crazy deja vu with this game because I feel like I've seen Blazing Hussars do this on Serpent Beach a few times now, where they get up to 3-0, they have that control, but that last push just doesn't go in. They give the comeback mechanic over. It's 3-1. They're still 1 point away, but it's just that last fight, being able to be, I guess, on the side of all business, recognizing what you need to do in order to make everything go right. It's been clean from, well, at least from all business for this round.
Ineffable's trying a couple of trial and error things. I don't know how experienced he is with Pip on this map, because he's tried and failed a couple of jump attempts to get to the high ground. Found an interesting one, though. I will give him that. He definitely showed me one that I wasn't aware of, but he's tried and failed a couple of different angles and approaches. And now the high ground is the question for all business. Eevee's got to take control of this for her squad. Ineffable's got to find a way to get up there. And that's one way to do it. I mean, they blow up Cassie. William Birkin takes down Toot. Now Kamikaze is so deep in the backline. Not CC immune there as he gets stunned out by Maldamba. And 1 minute left on the clock. Doodle drops down to grab one, but a couple more shots from Pip will do just the trick.
I mean, if you're wondering a way to make this 3-3, this is a pretty much good way to do it. Evil Mojo's charge. I don't think they're going to need it, although they won't be able to have it. Ineffable gets taken down right there. Low health bars for Blazing Hussars, but thankfully they have the respawn proximity.
I think that could have went in if he... That's an Evil Mojo onto 3 people right there, and Eevee is right there to start landing those shots. Fresh off of her blink, too, so she's got 4 seconds. You can throw out about 3 shots before it's time to blink back for Eevee. And if you've got your Soar up, then you don't even need to worry about the wormhole. If the fight is that good for you, you can just soar out, stay, wait out your wormhole, and then just soar back to safety. But has to get past the gatekeeper. Now, that was 1 bomb. That was 1 bomb, that 1,000 and change that Doodle just threw. Grumpy Bomb's going to stun an R, but it looks like she's got some resilience online. Eevee kind of wants nothing to do with the Doodle at this point. Long-range bomb is going to be good. No sustain in this overtime for all business, and yeah, I thought about as much there. Quick defense for Blazing Hussars.
I mean, being able to get those early kills. Essentially, once Ineffable fell, I feel like it became a much more uphill battle for All Business there, trying to come through. But they keep their ults coming into this round, which is probably what they were planning on. They were probably thinking, you know what?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yes, we will go into this still at a point down. If Blazing Hussars can beat us on this point fight, we will lose the game. But we're going to come in with way more utility, especially in our ults, being able to have the fear, the slow, the cripple, and the just evil mojo in terms of the polymorph coming through. So you're looking at 3, 4 now resiliences for Blazing Hussars. Most at level 1 or 2. It's not going to be enough to really cut down through Ineffable. Like, they still have just enough time to burst them. If the same thing happens that we saw last round, Toot Toot will still die just as fast.
Yeah, if you play the Evil Mojo perfectly, there's basically no counterplay, I think is what you're getting at there. It's still enough time for a coordinated strike to take out the chicken, and there it is. Gonna try and counter-engage here. Will find Doodle. Time and space comes through, but the overpower's enough. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Ultimate's being popped on either side, but look at this score. It's already a 65% and climbing lead on the objective. That's what Inara is bringing to these fights. She's not really getting involved. She's staying involved on the low ground. 96 and climbing, and that's just it. All Business go ahead and grab the capture at light speed.
And Dome Shield, you heard the Q, didn't quite get to come out because he got locked down. They finally get rid of Toot Toot as well. They have the payload, they can start moving forward. Eevee is locked in Closar. I mean, it was very much last game unfortunate for him because if he wasn't around on Cassie, it felt like his team didn't have the pressure. Now, him on Eevee, these shots connecting the way they are, he's been making such a big splash against Blazing Hussars. I mean, Genos hasn't had anywhere safe to stand.
Nowhere indeed. Could be a potential complete flip-flop here. All Business looked like they were getting blown out of the water on Serpent Beach. Blazing Hussars had it figured out early. And despite resiliences coming online in spades for Blazing Hussars, they still haven't been able to stay out in front. This Inara has been too big of a problem for them. Down on the objective, she goes straight there, and she does not leave. Granted, they've had comeback mechanic in every single round and the half cap in this previous one, so that will be different only if Blazing Hussars can survive this defense.
And that's going to be the big question mark. There's a minute and 20 left. And most members of All Business are still here. King Bomb going to get charged up and rolling around. He's looking for the kills. And that's 100% just we need to get rid of Inara. They don't have another frontline to take her place. Like, we can push the team back. Just kill her, please.
Get rid of her. And Doodle is going to be, one of the better people to do that. Cassie, very, very adept at doing it as well. Both of those characters are supplemented by Luminary. You would think could make pretty quick work of Inara, but, she has been so stalwart. I imagine just good cooldown cycling, doing things that Inara's like to do. Closar dies almost immediately coming into this one, so I don't know how much of an attempt this is actually going to be. William Birkin just trying to backpedal his way out of this one. Drops down into the gourd, and good God, that healing amp can really get Inara back to full HP quick.
It is, again, this is one of the things, like, when I'm playing Inara, I never notice it. Like, the only time I notice if I'm not getting healing is when I'm like, oh, my health bar is below 50%. Something is obviously wrong here. And that's like that moment. Like, Inara, when you're playing her, you almost feel invulnerable. Like, you feel like you could just withstand the world. Because, like, you get a little low. Cool, I'm going to right-click. Oh, man, things are a little worrisome. I'm going to hit F or Shift if you're a better binder. Either way, you're going to be able to come through. But, like, then there's moments like this where you're maybe too far away from your support. You are in the middle of Blazing Hussars, like, damage pit.
Yeah.
There's not a chance to stand.
Yeah, didn't really have a good opportunity to get back on the high ground there. All Business struggling. This has frankly been a pretty even game, despite it being very, very one-sided early and then very, very one-sided later on. Everyone is kind of dying a lot. There's only a few people that are still actually positive in this game. Doodle was 10-10 going into the last round, so he manages to put together a 4-1 round for himself. Getting back in the swing of things here. A couple of ultimates available for either side, but whose team fight do you like better going into this one? I
mean, I'm looking at 83% charged up for Andrew Doodle here. Not having that ult immediately, not having the King Bomb might be a little hurt in the side of their fight. Like, it might hurt them just a bit. But I feel like he hasn't been using it immediately. It's not the in-gauge for him. It's something that he can get. So a couple bombs, I think he'll be fine. I'm more worried about that Evil Mojo. It depends on whether or not Toot Toot stays alive.
Well, he does quickly.
I didn't even get to finish the sentence.
Gore has the strongest caster curse here, Potion Center. 30% now and climbing. All Business have had the comeback mechanic, or in last round's case, the half cap. It's not the case this time, but it's not exactly slowing them down. Now, Barrick is coming back. Look at that. He gets dismounted right away. It's going to be tough for him to get back in there. They don't want to let him in. The Dome Shield is forced out. The Ice Storm trying to lock him down. Everyone is diving onto Toot Toot, and he just cannot survive the storm.
And you just see the throw.
Why
William
didn't you do
Birkin
that
finally
earlier?
gets rid of, but Kamiker's too low. You have the King Bomb come through, but there's no one to follow it up. They just need to stand on it, but it jumps into the through time and space.
Oh my god, the read of time in combination with Ineffable just dropping into it. A gift has been given. 93% and climbing. Blazing Hussars have just been given a miracle from above to bring them back into this game. Incredible shot there.
Can you imagine
from the support?
You're Pip, and you're like, guys, watch this. I got this.
No.
And you land, and like you see it charging up, and you're like, oh no. There's literally nothing I can do to stop this.
He effed up. And then he just gets just celestially blasted back into cosmic dust here. 90% to 99. It's going to be an overtime. It's going to be a fight here. Evil Mojo is ready to rock and roll. Once again, it's going to connect onto the high ground. Grafis waddles away, stays alive. 3 more kills come through for the Hussars, and it's just an Eevee left alive. She hits the emotes because she knows this is her last dance.
That was such an awesome point fight. Like that entire last 2 minutes of that game were incredible coming down from them. Because again, it's like if that through time and space doesn't connect, that Evil Mojo comes up faster. That Pip has a little bit more presence on the point. Maybe he gets a couple kills and they win about 30 seconds ago. Him dying there, I think, had a lot of repercussions.
The question for me is that we see that fight happen, the Evil Mojo happens, and then as soon as Barrick gets back and is again struggling, then the overpower comes through and throws Inara off. My question is, why don't we just throw her off as soon as Barrick is dead too, and you don't let them have that free 90% capture? They do win the game there, but Blazing Hussars definitely, I think, could clean that up. They were really, really in control when there was no comeback mechanics available. Let's get it back to the desk, keep the set moving.
Thank you very much, guys. And
wow,
what a roller coaster game 2 was. The Hussars, the Hussars have a 3-0 lead.
Yep.
Tie it up 3-3 for all business, and then a little bit of wackiness there at the end leads to a Hussars win.
Great ults. There were a lot of ults that determined that game, and you know it's tough when you win your only fight because Genos kills 2 people on his ult. Then you don't feel confident winning the next fight because you're like, do I have to do that every time for us to win? But when you win your fights before, and then you get this like, oh man, we've lost our momentum. Now it's tied 3-3, and then on the last fight, Genos gets 2 with his ult. Then that's just a gift from God. It's just a sign that maybe things will go our way. As you can see, I mean, it was a pretty dominant game on the side of Blazing Hussars KDA-wise. Every single person on that team is positive, aside from Toot Toot, who took a beating on the point. But it was because they came into it understanding that they're going up against a non-traditional 3 DPS. They took the Genos away. They have these augmented Bomb Kings and these augmented just heavy hitters in the Cassie.
Sure.
But the issue was they were actually missing quite a bit. And William Birkin did a fantastic job on the Inara being able to shift. And you got to talk about Surrette's being so effective at keeping her alive, even from distance. They made that a hard task to kill. So the fact that they had so much damage and still weren't able to kill the Inara quickly, it's just a testament to the way all business came, and they almost got the win as a result of it.
Absolutely, and you have to look at the offensive power on the side of all business as well. Doodle with some just absurd plays there throughout that game. He leveled off a little bit. I think it's more because the Hussars were able to, or excuse me, all business were able to kind of figure out his play style a little bit, figure out exactly what he was doing. But started off with some 2v1 or some 1v2s, I guess. I mean, he turned around some fights. He was really the driving force in those first 3 rounds, and then the rest of the team, maybe some luck playing into to the end of it there. But that's not necessarily that Doodle has played bad by any means in the past. He's always a driving force on this team.
No, he's done well.
But seeing him in that game,
and
that's the Doodle that you like to see.
That's the Doodle of ages Doodle, you know, and that's where we always love to see. We're gonna get a look at Ascension Peak here, which is great. It'll change things up for snipers to come into the conversation potentially. Although there aren't any real sniper mains in, you know, these two teams, you could definitely see it happen. If we had Stigma on the other side, looking at the NA side of things, we would definitely be seeing Kinessa Strix bans and things like that. But I see a heavy prioritization on the Inara. I think we're going to see heavy Khan here. I don't know if they'll let the Makoa go through because that would be a rampaging turtle here on this map as well. They're going to ban it actually first. And so the Torvald will also be banned. I'd also expect Cassie again, and they're going to actually ban the Khan. So this is forcing Hussars into an interesting spot. They take the Grover away knowing they'll get the Ashe or the Inara, whichever one All Business decides to forego, and I most likely will be the Ashe that gets to go to the side of the
I will fight to protect the sanctity of the wild.
So they get the Inara, and is that just sort of because the way this point is laid out in the middle?
Exactly. The way this point works is that it's this very extended point fight that can be even more extended due to the fact that there's cover on the point. Most points are just open and by themselves. In Ascension Peak, you actually have two statues that count as the objective point that you can hide behind. Secondly, it's also the biggest point in all of Paladins. So it's a map that's not your typical circle. It's actually a full square, and the entirety almost of the room that you fight in is objective capture. So these fights will go on potentially longer than any other fight in any map in this entire game.
Well, hopefully the casters have their voices ready.
Yeah, they're ready for a long point fight.
The oxygen in the lungs. The Inara going the way of All Business, though. You pointed that out, and then the Ashe and the Barrack and the Leon flipping over to the Hussars. The Cassie predicting it, calling it out, goes over to All Business, and then Genos as well. So both teams kind of filling that role that I think you expected to see, where you have sort of a higher priority, a very healthy tank. I mean, not that we wouldn't see an Inara Ashe anyway. But then some sustain to go around it because they realize these fights potentially are going to keep going longer and longer.
And what I like is the Zen, who really helps to augment this point fight. Yoni can work because it's burst damage in an area where everyone's standing, but also Guillotine. You've seen some incredible Guillotine performances because you see the Fernando and the Inara. Those aren't the aggressive tanks right now. Fernando doesn't feel that role anymore. All Business is trying to sit on this point, let the Cassie hit a lot of damage, let the Zen pick up kills, but it's a war of attrition, and it's going to be whoever lasts at the very end is going to be the victor, not whoever gets all these crazy kills.
Well, war of attrition is about to get underway here. Our first peek at Ascension Peak.
There you go.
Game number 3 about to be underway. Let's send it on down to Gore and Nick.
Full send down here to the Peak boys. This is a treat. I mean, it's basically a new map at this point. We haven't played this bad boy in months.
It's been a hot minute.
For reasons I will not disclose here and now, but if you're in tune, you know why. But it has not been played in many moons.
You're in the know.
If you know, you know, kid. And I ain't gonna be the one to tell you otherwise. You gotta find out.
I'm actually interested to see Palm King on this map. I think has a lot of high potential. And I feel like it can accomplish a lot, especially with someone like Andrew Doodle. But there's also just a few moments where I feel like Cassie's Zen is just going to kind of handle it.
Have to see. And the war of attrition begins. 0-0 on the objective. Both frontliners have a claim on it at the moment. And this is actually interesting. You actually get increased credit spooling for contesting the objective against. So you get like 2 per tick.
Yeah.
If there's nobody on it, but if there's another frontliner on it, then you get like 4 per tick. And this is like another random, just hidden mechanic in Paladins. If there's like 5 people on if like all players are on the objective, you're getting like 10 credits a tick.
The economy is booming.
Exactly. Like it's the stimulus package here. And it's a 75% lead for Blazing Hussars. Managing to get this one done fairly quickly. Inara's creeping up. Fernando's creeping up. Ultimates are starting to creep up as well. A couple breaking the 75% mark here. Doodle and Leon not far behind.
It really depends to me on whether or not Fernando and Inara can stand on this point as long as they need to. 93-24, you're already in a steep hill. If you get one good ult, maybe say a King Bomb coming out a little too soon that you're not prepared for, it's just going to drive this one home. And
do it, Doodle.
Admittedly, I mean, he has it. There's no reason really to hold on.
Don't wait, because then you get them the chance for them to come up. Overtime is ready. They have to stand on the objective. Toot Toot is dead. I think this could be the moment. Dread Serpent into the back line is going to fear Kamaker. Is it too little too late? The King Bomb does come through here. It's going to be good for the kill onto one front line, but there's still another to worry about. Grafis finds 2. Looking for more here. They're going to need more. Huge Enlightenment is going to clip William Birkin down to low HP, and he does not have the mitigation. Grafis puts together one hell of a sequence to stay alive, pins another one to the wall. Grafis just can't be stopped. Cassie's going to roll out in the view, but Kamaker will claim her life. as the Blazing Hussars find the first objective in just under about 3 minutes.
And honestly, so you have that King Bomb come through, and Nara gets Void Gripped after Poppy bombed up into the air. So she's hanging up in the sky, and this 1v1 starts between a Bomb King and a Zen. And I don't think there's anyone who feels confident in a 1v1 against him. Like, you have to burst him so quickly to make things work. The stun actually still going to connect right there from the Assert Dominance. Like, the pressure from Blazing Hussars, they are hitting these moments, and they're hitting them at, like, it almost feels like it's going to happen too late, right? Like, it's like, oh, that's not going to connect, that's not going to work out the way, but then it just happens at the right time.
Well, he popped that one, so he didn't get disengaged off the map. I think he was long gone, and they may have just gotten him again. They hit him with it, but he did not fall all the way off. Staying on the high ground now, Cassie kind of rolling in here. And look at Tutu just in there mixing it up with Inara and Maldon, but Kamikaze trying to box out against this Cassie, and he will calculate the 1v1 in his favor. 2 kills for Kamikaze in this engagement. He's done a really good job at making sure he controls the temple, and nobody can shoot down on his team as they try to break the hardest part of Ascension Peak. Most maps have about 2 primary choke points where fights are happening. That was one of them. And the next one is going to be right here at the gate of the base.
And it's just so difficult because you literally walk through that gate, and they are all on a balcony looking at the payload. Like, there's nowhere for you to really get aggressive. There's nowhere for you to hide. You can kind of duck and dive into this little tunnel on the side, or you can take this fight where you see Kamikaze and Andrew Doodle, where it's just put this pressure on the side, split their attention.
And unfortunately, Birkin tracks down Doodle. Big 1,200 damage shots connecting right now. Ineffable feeling good about himself, but maybe a little too good as he rolls into danger, into harm's way, and gets taken down close. So we're trying to clean this one up and make sure that all business do put their foot down. Nice counter there to grab the double. Whirls away, 35 on the clock here. Pretty aggressive zone coming out. Barrick's going to die as well. 5 seconds before he respawns. And if everyone gets zoned out, I mean, this is going to be a tough spot to come back from. And, like, you got to walk across this relatively large map now on foot.
You know, the phrase uphill battle is always like a good descriptor for, like, man, it's going to be very difficult. This one's a literal uphill battle. Like, they have the high ground almost constantly over you unless you're on the point fight. And so as long as all business can hold this, and usually as long as you're on, like, the same footing, equal footing, as a team or as 2 teams, you can hold that through. And those 2 kills coming out immediately when they did, like, that seals the deal.
Comes down to map control, right? I mean, look at that. Everyone's up in the temple. 3 people are shooting down on those front lines. 2 more on their opposite flank. You just can't hope to survive against that type of pressure. 6-1, though, for Grafis. What a round. 1-3 for Doodle. Tough stuff on that front. All 5 ultimates available for the Hussars. Almost every ultimate available for the Business Boys. Did he just not get that charged? Wait, no, he definitely popped 1 Immortal. I definitely remember I saw one on the
he popped one with him and Cassie trying to continuously push
0-2,
that Ash
20k damage. Did he get that ultimate charge off that whole time? But, you know, there is a little bit of time spooling on ultimate, so I think everyone will usually get it as long as the round is not super, super quick. You don't spend a lot of time dead.
Surrett's undying through that round, has the 2 time and space, and admittedly, if he can hit a good ult, that makes a huge difference. Just one kind of kill off someone free guard, or get a front line really low and set them up for your DPS, but it depends again on this engagement. Doodle's already sitting around half health.
I like it. Seismic Crash pretty much completely absorbed by the Dome Shield, so well done there. Kamikaze deep into the back line. You know what he's looking for. It's the Banister. It's going to get planted. I don't know if it got the stun there. I'm pretty sure Cassie just popped Scout to get CC immunity. Able to roll out of that one. One more bomb is going to be good from Doodle. 2 kills in total for nothing answered by all business. And still 3 ultimates there sitting on Gormizer. So they're in a pretty good spot for the follow-up team fight as well.
And that was such an aggressive fight. Like, I've never seen people loop around that way on this map. But Surrett's going to be able to help cause a little bit of trouble. You get rid of the healer, and the Dread Servant was used just before that. So you open up a lot of utility for your team.
Have to come back into the King Bomb, though, at the moment. Enlightenment is the only other ultimate available, but Grafis still respawning, so he won't be available here. Surrett's found one with his time and space. 96% in climbing. No comeback mechanics, no half caps, no fast caps, just regular caps this time. Kamikaze finds another kill on the Closar, who has been, in my opinion, dead silent this game. We'll have to see if King Bomb can cause a ruckus. It runs right into the Immortal, so everyone is alive. Low HP, definitely in a bad spot here as the follow-up bombs come through. Doodle manages to find the kill just a couple of seconds later onto both of his original targets as Grafis steals away his 3rd. He's looking for a 4th as well. I don't know if he'll be able to grab it. Closar again. Tail between his legs. Thousand Hands leader just kind of running.
You know, you got to see a fun mechanic when Andrew Doodle was aggressing onto an immortaled Fernando. And that's that the bombs don't stick. He's CC immune. Like, you can't lock him down. And so you see him just kind of hit, fall. But the thing is that he's so slow in Immortal that I think every single bomb Andrew Doodle hit him with connected anyway, even though they were kind of scattered around the ground.
Well, I mean, how much health do you have? How much health does Immortal keep you at, right?
Yeah, like 1,500. It's not
How much
enough.
damage does 2 bombs do? Okay?
Enough.
1,800. Like, the math checks out here, and that's what Bomb King's all about. He may be kind of a dingus, but, you know, he got his PhD in mathematics. Dear God, they just keep connecting for Doodle. And this ammo is paying off because he's hitting every damn shot narrowly. Gets one of those, I would say, juked out. I wouldn't even say he missed. I would say that was a nice back step from William Birkin there to try and stay alive, and he does get back in his spawn because this snowball is starting to roll, and it's starting to pick up hella momentum as we broke the first corner without even really much of a fight, and now the payload is already knocking at the door.
All right, top tier play. I need to see a Poppy Bomb onto the balcony, King Bomb ult, kill off 2 or 3. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if you can make it work on this map that well. But it's something that if you do that, that can like almost guarantee this point going in.
Dread Serpent looks like it was blocked by a pillar there because Doodle and Kamikaze were definitely inside of that. 2-2 finds 2 on the front side, and that's the type of play that will collapse a team fight, right? Everyone's going, trying to follow up on this Dread Serpent. But if the epicenter of the Dread Serpent is like blocked by something and the trace can't find its way to you, then you don't get feared. That's just how it works, and it's wicked unfortunate. That's what looked like happened there, but Xenost unfortunately kind of baits his team in, and then they get punished for it.
Surets is still not dying. And it's one of those things, I think on any other support, I'd say like that's why this is so skewed. Genos doesn't do a lot of healing, but I think it's because the uptime. Like every Luminary, all of these blasts, all of these shots that are connecting for everyone else on his team, he's facilitating it. That 24 streak is well earned. And then you look at the other side, this Moldamba, not only having that Dread Serpent go awry, but several times getting just kind of popped off. Like there's no way he could actually be in the fight because he was just killed off early.
And the flank is just having no pressure. Klosar has caught 2 and a Haven 1. I'm pretty sure Doodle has 2 level 2 items and like a level 1. And look at this, caught 3, Rejuve 1, and Wrecker 1, and 430 credits in hand. Like, he's just struggling this game. He's not finding kills. He's not finding a lot of damage. And if he's dead a lot of the time again, his ultimates aren't going to be spooling up quite as quickly. Klosar finally gets one down in the back line there. That's what we needed to see from him. Lone wolf status, though, that's part of it. He doesn't have a Genos. He doesn't have anyone looking after him. He is completely and totally alone in this game. And there it is. Surets just can't miss today.
And just being able to set this up, you need a mark, though, going on Andrew Doodle. It's going to be able to connect, but a lot of lives coming through. Pillow going to keep him alive, and Klosar walks out of it.
And so does Doodle. Surets literally killed himself so Doodle can live. That is exactly, he stayed in harm's way to get that with his last dying breath. He threw the Astra Mark onto Doodle. Doodle's got his ultimate. Now he needs to make something of the chance he has been given. Fernando is up in his face. Davizzi drops the Immortal. The fear is good this time around. And the fast cap is going to make it look like all business are going to be off to the races on their first offense.
Unless Kamikaze can come through with the most insane play of 2019 where he 1v4s in a scenario and wipes all 4 of them. I just don't see it happening, and of course it doesn't happen. So Blazing Hussars, no King Bomb used that entire time, and I think that's kind of where the key comes through. They didn't get the big stun, the big utility.
Yeah.
I think Dome Shield was either not up or was used very early on in that round, so like the later end utility for that fight just kind of fell off for Blazing Hussars.
I will say to his credit, Doodle has to worry about Immortal, Seismic Crash, Scout, and Slither, and Billow. So everyone on all business can just be like, nah. No thanks.
No ult.
And no thanks. I mean, if he gets close enough to Cassie, right, you can still just kill her outright, even if she's CC immune with the damage. But Doodle has had to be pretty careful with his. And the difference for me, Gore, and I don't know if it's the same for you, is just Xin found a kill that round.
Yeah.
Xin did something.
Very early on, too.
And the fight becomes much easier when Xin does it.
It not only created it a 5v4, but it put him in a position like he was behind the team, he gets a kill, and then he can come back up and he's like, cool, I'm just going to box Bomb King now. And it's like, I'm Xin, I have Billow, I have Whirl, I have like so many things to keep me alive to get out of this. That worst case scenario, I just have to run away for a little bit before I get back to my healer.
Looking for another flank. Definitely looks like Swift Spirits or something. This boy is moving up this ramp. Spite, excuse me, is ready to go. Whirling deep to the back line. Remember, he's had to play pretty alone this time, so definitely credit where credit's due. And this is why, you know, Ninu is one of my favorite players, I think, to watch, because he's been able to do this in the PPL successfully. What Hussars is trying to rock and roll with right now, being alone, getting into the backline by himself, not getting any healing from his Maldamba because they do not have line of sight of him, and staying alive and being effective, it is not easy to do. And Hussars is, he's hanging in there.
I mean, he's dancing around the side. He's doing everything you need to do as Zen to be able to stay alive and stay, like, kind of pressuring Blazing Hussars here, making sure that they don't know quite where to look for him, as well as what exactly he's going to do. A nice shield, though.
He should just buy veteran.
And if they can just keep him locked down, this is a good spot to do it.
And
the first veteran buy of over a year.
Luminary barrack there for 644. It's tough even for Zen to push into. Ineffable gets picked from far away. And might diffuse this offense here. He's respawned now, but he's all the way across the map. 4v5 at the moment. Fernando's falling lower and lower. Void Grip up is good. Somehow, for some reason, I guess I should say, Davazy charges into that. It does not pan out well for him, and Nara is just getting pegged from all angles. And you know, the Earthen Guard is only going to keep her alive for so long. And she will fall eventually. Blazing Hussars to hold that defense. Go up 3-2.
Nara can hold for a long time, but when you're under the damage of 4 to 5 people, it's not as long as you'd like to think. And unfortunately for them, on the side of all business, that 169 slash line for this Nara kind of is a good telling point. And the same thing, 3 and 8 for Davozy. Like, they are not alive long enough to make the big difference. The fact that they got the first defense was good for them. But the second point fight, that last one was really just comeback mechanic. That was all fast gap. That was not their presence on the point.
Yeah, they've been getting smoked a little bit in this game, and hopefully can get their feet under them now. Resilience is starting to come through for the Hussars. Plenty of ultimates available as well. The only thing that's not available is Spite to the tune of 14% down. All business are ready to take this fight, and Doodle's got to find a way to figure this out. A way to get King Bomb in here and available, so forcing something out early. Look at this, right behind Kamaker. It's forcing out that early Immortal, but the Dread Serpent might be enough to clean him up. It's not. Now his opportunity has presented itself. In he goes, finding the stun and just staying safe. I mean, the trigger discipline. Doodle is not getting aggressive. He is not making any mistakes here. He is just trying to bait and to bait and to bait all business in, thinking they get this kill, thinking they get this kill, but they don't. You will never get this. You will never get this. La 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 la. Doodle comes back in for the 3rd time in this fight and finishes it off with a double kill. What a perfectly orchestrated fight from Doodle.
And just dance in, dance out, step in, step out. Like, and exactly what you said, staying safe the entire time, knew when to get aggressive, when to fall back. Comes in, King's Bomb, sees Cassie's gone, cool, fall back. And Davozy makes the one mistake that you could have, and that's, I'm going to go try to kill that Bomb King. And he goes around the side, kind of isolates himself from his team, and puts him in a 1v1 that he's just not going to win.
And now the momentum is rolling. Doodle is continuing to frag in the back line here. He can separate a couple people. He smells the support over the top of the wall, an easy couple of bombs, and that will do it behind the rock. You are not safe. Now he's just got to clean up the Sonar. The front lines are completely stranded here without sustain. One falls, the other falls, and a Blazing Hussars victory.
I mean, that was just well played. And compared to what I've seen the last few weeks, like, this is a completely put together Blazing Hussars, whereas every week there's always been something where it's like, well, you know, you need to change a little bit of this, or like this could do a little better, and it was improved upon from week 1 to week 2, improved upon from week 2 to week 3, and a vast improvement from week 3 to week 4. This week, they are looking like not a brand new team, but a very, very cohesive team.
Looking good for sure. Blazing Hussars, they managed to seal it up here, 3 games to nothing. Let's get it back to the desk and wrap it up.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Game 3 is wrapped up, and the Hussars wrap it up in a very convincing way, and they finally bounced back, found themselves their first win here in the PML, and just like I said, in a really big way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a very
big
convincing victory there.
Big W there, and you know, you look at the stats, they speak for themselves. Great performances, and it's been a long time coming, this type of performance. These guys have all played for so long in our basically minor league, with what's called the PGS, now the PML, and Ineffable, Davozy, Xenost, Hussar, William Birkin. These guys have a lot of talent. Ineffable as well has done a lot of things in the community, as well as Hussar, but it's just not that group of veterans the same way that it is on Blazing Hussars. I expected them to come through strong today, and they did not disappoint.
And Doodle, kind of the storyline to watch again. I mean, you gave him the Bomb King game 2 and game 3 and pays off in a huge way. And
Totally.
you're just feeling confident. You can really tell that. I mean, finding the angles, getting in behind all business, finding some space that, you know, maybe somebody with a little less confidence might not feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
So certainly a big storyline to watch is how Doodle performed really well today.
Yeah.
And look to continue to perform in the future.
And a huge storyline for me is it started back in 1995 when a young man named Dave was actually born. And 24 years later, we actually decided to celebrate this with a special treat from one of his best friends who helped guide him into this moment.
Say special treat?
We have some cupcakes for you, Sir Dave, by our cupcake model here.
Happy birthday napkins.
We're paying him hourly so that he can provide you this
Nick with a nice
experience.
presentation.
Bashore went out, I think, got these for you, and we just want to say happy birthday, man. Welcome to the squad.
Welcome
You're a
to the
great
squad.
addition.
Happy birthday. Everyone in the chat, throw some love to Dave. Happy
Thank
birthday,
you very much.
man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to
I really dig this. I can't wait to clip this.
There you
find
go.
the green one. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'll give you a little fist bump. I'll hug you
birthday,
later.
bro.
I'm not going to hug you here on camera, but
I hear you.
But
I hear you.
thanks for the cast. Welcome to the team.
absolutely.
And,
beautiful to be here.
We'll have a good rest
Hey,
of the
Gore.
day.
Hey, thanks,
Would you like
guys.
to come in here, Gore?
Come on,
Yeah,
Gore.
Gore,
Join
come
the
on, get in
party.
here.
Say hey.
Have a cupcake, Gore. Do something crazy.
I might have been losing weight, but I'm still a fat kid.
You look great, Gore. You look
Dave,
great.
Dave, it is your birthday. That's the best part of the bottom left. It is your
love it.
birthday. It is my birthday.
Well, Dave,
Thank you very much, guys.
happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Happy 24th. Of course, we've got a break coming up. I'm going to take this one for you because you relax, eat a cupcake, enjoy yourselves. We'll be back with more PML. Dave's birthday. Cupcakes. People, we'll see you soon.